Hello, everybody. Welcome to the August 15th, 2022 edition of the Bullshit Podcast. I am your host, Verve. And with me today is the Bullshit Podcast's first ever guest, Lim.
Hi.
How you doing today, Lim?
I'm okay. How are you?
I've asked you this question like 3 times today, but this is the first time it's actually been recorded that I asked you this question. So, Lim knows how this goes, but since this is only the second episode, I'm going to quickly go over how this podcast works. The goal of the podcast is to be 30 minutes to max an hour. This podcast is designed for those of us out there who are gamers but have busy lives, who don't have like 3.5 to 4 fucking hours to listen to these podcasts that drag on and on and on and talk about random shit. Because we talk about random shit, but in a condensed, busy schedule friendly way. So, if you're down for like the 4.5 hour long podcasts, make sure you come join us live at twitch.tv/VerveXP so that you can be part of the after show where we do interact with chat and we get to talk to you about all the topics that are discussed in the episode that happens minutes before the after show. So, today we're going to be starting out. We have 9 topics for today. Most of them are gaming related. Today was not necessarily a big week for gaming news, but it had a lot of just random shit to games that I don't play, and some games that I don't plan on playing, but I figured there's always somebody out there who enjoys these video games and wants to hear about news about them, and if they're popular, I'll definitely cover it. So Lim, our first... How do you say the rest of your name, by the way?
Lemurian?
Lemurian, okay. I didn't know if it was Lemurian or Lemurian.
I say Lemurian.
Lemurian, okay. Gotcha. I just call you Lim because I've always been like, I don't want to say the rest of it in case I fuck it up. Also, really quickly before I jump into the first topic, I forgot about this. Tomorrow, brand new video going up on the main Verve XP, or the main Verve channel, that Lim was actually in. It's a GTRP video of literally the craziest Cayo Perico heist I'd ever done. And unfortunate spoiler alert, she was the only one to go to jail. And I feel really bad about that because out of everyone that was there...
One of the locals that we were fighting, like, basically kicked me off the ledge and I fell into the ocean.
Which is, it's... Out of everybody there, I feel like you were the one that least deserved to go to jail in that group at the end of that. You were the one that went.
What sucks too is that, like, I first had, like, fallen after getting shot, and so he was like, take my guns and use my guns, because he had, like, a little bit of better guns than me. And then I ended up being the only one that was caught, so like his guns plus my guns got taken.
Jesus.
He should have just kept his guns.
If he kept his guns, they would have been like, they probably would have been fine, eh? Like they would have been like, if he kept his guns, he would have gotten out with them. Jesus. Well, speaking of video games, let's get into our first gaming related topic. Warner Brothers, as well as, what's the developer? Avalanche. Apparently, the developer Avalanche is working with Warner Brothers Interactive to make a new Harry Potter game called Hogwarts Legacy. And it's been delayed. Which, be prepared to hear that at least, I think, 1 or 2 more times during this podcast. Apparently, a lot of games are getting delayed nowadays, which, in my opinion, is a good thing. It's not a good thing that they're necessarily, like... It's not a good thing that these developers are putting out release dates and then saying, we can't make that release date. I feel like they should just by default choose the later release date at this point.
Everybody's always in a hurry, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that it's getting delayed because that means that the game's not ready and it just needs that extra little bit of time to be ready, you know, and I'm glad that they're taking that time. I also felt that way with Cyberpunk, but we all saw how that turned out, so. So, like every episode, pretty much all of my gaming news articles come from Game Informer, just because I'm a loyal fan of theirs. I remember years ago actually subscribing to their fucking magazines, so Longtime fan of Game Informer. And then all of my world news stuff comes from Associated Press just because they're my personal choice. Like world news and shit outlet. If there's something that I hear about that I give a shit about, I'll go look it up on their website. If anybody watching here has a problem with that, once you hear us talk about the story, just go to whatever news outlet you prefer's website and just search it up. I'm sure you'll find their article about it. Developer Avalanche and publisher Warner Brothers Interactive have delayed Hogwarts Legacy to next year. More specifically, Hogwarts Legacy, originally due to come out sometime this year, will now hit PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on February 10th, 2023. The game will make its way to Switch too, but today's announcement also came with the news that Switch version will launch at a later date. Not very surprising, if you ask me. Lim, our friend Luke, he is a huge Nintendo guy, as far as I know. And I'm sure he has dealt with all of the complications that come with making Nintendo Switch your preferred console, because since the Nintendo Switch doesn't have the best hardware performance, usually big ticket games that come out for that are pushed back a bit because they need to just kind of work on it more in terms of condensing the game and scaling it to a point.
They work on it more so that it's a better product when they put it out, you know?
That's the idea. GTA Definitive Edition was not an example of that, but then again, that was a dog shit game anyway, all the way around, so. Switch unfortunately got a really shit end of the stick there, but I have a picture of an official tweet from them, so I'll go ahead and bring that up real quick. It's just a quick little tweet that it'll be kind of hard for you guys on the stream to read, but Hogwarts Legacy will launch on February 10th, 2023 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. The Nintendo Switch launch date will be revealed soon. Team is excited for you to play, but we need a little more time to deliver the best possible game experience. And there's a little bit of a crushed little interesting I don't know, like image there. I'm gonna.
Maybe you said this already, but like, is it an RPG or what is it?
It's a. I'm not sure. Let me go to the article here. See if it says in the article. Hogwarts Legacy was originally due out in 2021 before it was delayed to 2022. Now it's coming in 2023. So this is the second time it was delayed. Interesting.
It's an immersive open-world action RPG set in the world first introduced in the Harry Potter books.
Well, there you go. I just went to the article, and she just probably Googled it and found it easier.
Straight up Google it.
I like this little note. I didn't include it at first, but since we're at the article, I might as well read it. Read about how controversial Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling is not involved with the making of Hogwarts Legacy, quote, or in parentheses, although she will certainly be getting money as a direct result of this game.
Of course, right?
I mean, well, yeah, I would imagine so. She made the whole fucking universe the game is, fucking bred off of.
Right.
I'm not at all a Harry Potter fan, not for any negative reason, just I think I watched I think I read like 2 of the books when I was younger, and then I watched like 1 movie, and like that was it. I wouldn't mind watching the rest of them. It's just
They're pretty good.
I don't it's not something that interests me so much that I'm going to specifically make time to watch it personally. But that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but I don't know. I'm just not super into it to the point where I'm like, oh, I need to, go watch all of the Harry Potter movies because it's such a. Shut the fuck up. Sorry, I'm preparing something for the next one. You know what I'm gonna do? Out of like a courtesy, I think what I can do is I'll do this so that you can see things when I bring them up, because there's occasionally times where I will look at like a uh-oh, that fucked up the Discord VC thing window. Hold on. There we go. There we are. But yeah, I figured I'll stream my browser to you so that when we do watch like little things like what we're gonna watch over here, you can also see it without having to like tune into the stream and see it delayed and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I just haven't been a huge Harry Potter fan like ever, and I just don't see a need for me to ever go to the theaters and be like, I really need to see this fucking movie. Like, oh, Harry Potter's fucking poggers. Like, I don't mean to like sound disrespectful to anyone who does like Harry Potter, but I'm just like, not really that much of a priority here for me, huh? So, all right, we're gonna move on to our next topic. So, I'm sure Lim doesn't really give a shit about COD, and I'm sure there's some people in chat that don't really give a shit. And people watching this who don't really give a shit. But for those of us who do, Modern Warfare 222, as I've been calling it, because it's Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 2022, Modern Warfare 222, has a new map that has been released. Infinity Ward has released a TikTok, and then Game Informer has a little parentheses, it's a new world. Yeah, imagine that. Big fucking game studios releasing info on a fucking TikTok. Jesus. What kind of world do we live in then? The fucking E-Thought with half of her ass hanging out right above Call of Duty making an announcement, I swear. That shows some of its developers discussing a new map in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 called Farm 18, as reported by Eurogamer. The map will probably fall into the medium-sized range of Call of Duty maps, and that's because it's one part a level set in an abandoned and overgrown cement factory, and another part shoot house, the popular level from 2019's Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Of course, it's not a one-to-one recreation, but Infinity Ward says Farm 18 Center, which is a large shoot house, was inspired by Modern Warfare's shoot house. So, and then this link here goes to Twitter, which we will watch the little TikTok that they have here of the map.
How we designed a new map for Modern Warfare 2.
My name is Jeffrey Smith. I'm a director of multiplayer design. Farm 18 came out of the idea of we kind of like the shoot house facility map, so we decided to think of hidden training facilities. But it's also in an industrial cement factory. And the idea was, what if we put a shoot house type situation in the middle? If you really want to play that crazy game, you can go to the center and that action will find you. If you want to pull back and play a different way, it's still available to you.
I'm Ashley Thundercliffe, and I'm a senior
Jesus! What a fucking last name. What a name. What a name. Ashley Thundercliffe. Good lord.
environment artist. So
Sounds
when
like something out of a Bronte novel.
the design has approved the layout of the map and we're happy with it, and then we come in and we transform those blockhouses into full-fledged environments for the players to immerse themselves in. The other problem was balancing the foliage. If we go too dense with the foliage, we have people hide in the corners. If we don't go dense enough, we don't sell the narrative of the overgrowth. So it's all a perfect balance between all departments trying to find the perfect harmony to make sure that we've got a beautiful, realistic looking space, whilst also being fun for the players to enjoy.
You know, you could put all that work into it, but the map could still be ass. And it just sucks that it sucks that I have to take that stance, but it's true, man. Like, I don't know how many like a good example of this. So for anyone who's not privy to COD, I'll provide an example. Lim, do you know, and since Lim I'm sure is pretty ignorant of a lot of this, she'll be like my conduit for the audience that also doesn't know a lot of it.
I don't really play first-person shooters much, so.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the term weapons sandbox?
Not really, but I could like surmise that it's like an open world and you shoot things.
Okay, kind of close. Weapons sandbox isn't necessarily a way to describe the game as a whole. It's something that's in a shooter. So a good example would be 5M on the RP server we're on. The weapons sandbox is just the term for the amount of weapons that are available to the player.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So we have all of the guns in fucking what's the shop called? Ammunition.
Ammunition
Are part of the weapons sandbox. The guns we can buy from the people who sell illegal guns, those are all part of the weapons sandbox. And the thing is that in a weapon sandbox, you have to learn and know how to balance it properly. And just swapping, you may think like just swapping out an ACR for a SCAR in a COD game doesn't do much if the guns are almost the exact same. But the problem is it usually is different. A lot of people always shit on COD, same game every year, and I get that, but that's how every game that has a formula is. You could argue Halo is the same every year. You could argue that Grand Theft Auto is the same every year. You know, because there's these broad generalizations we can make about the games. But people who aren't into it are just going to see those broad generalizations. COD has had some more extreme examples. Modern Warfare 3 and 2 to Ghosts, for example. Call of Duty Ghosts was like the biggest copy-paste COD I've ever seen in my life. But there were still some things that were different about it. You know, it's the same, like, oh, you could say every GTA is the same. It's like, oh, it's just, you're a criminal. You do bad things to get money in open world in city. And that is, you know, like, it's you know, it's the broad generalizations that get people to the point where they start hating on games for being too similar. The thing with COD is that the biggest changes in Call of Duty is, even though the weapons could look slightly different and they're named the same thing and they could even look exactly the same, usually between the COD games, they operate completely differently. I don't know how many times I've used an M4 in COD games, and every single fucking game, the M4 is different. Like the Commando in Black Ops. My opinion, trash. At least at launch. The recoil was so fucking ridiculous. Then you move on to the next one, which was Modern Warfare 2. The M4, pretty good. Black Ops 2, there wasn't really an M4. There was the M27, but you know, it was roughly the same as the Modern Warfare 2 M4. And then you have Modern Warfare 3. The M4 was completely different. Has way more recoil. You know, there's differences, right? So the thing is that you can take one game's weapon sandbox that was made for a specific map, and the minute you put a different weapon sandbox to that map, it can make the map really bad. Perfect example is Nuketown. That's a map that even COD, non-COD fans have heard of. Nuketown's like this like huge big ticket map. I mean, games that aren't even COD have had Nuketown in them in some form or fashion. The problem lies is, like, for example, Nuketown in the original Black Ops, the game it was designed for, amazing map. The weapon sandbox works so good when you have like the Galil, the original FAMAS, the PM63, all these guns from Black Ops that work really well as like mid to close range weapons, and that fits the smaller map layout of Black Ops 1. You throw Nuketown into like Cold War, it's fucking garbage, because Warzone was a thing for Cold War, so all the weapons have this longer range, so it doesn't matter what weapon you're using, you can touch a guy on the other side of the map. They're all overpowered on that map because the map is so small, because it was designed for a game that had shorter firing weapons that were meant to be used in such closer quarters. So like the weapon sandbox really does depend and make or break the map for the game. So this map, they could be pouring all this effort into this map, and it just ends up being a bad map to play because the weapons in the game don't fit it. You know what I mean? That's also why I've played maps from older CODs when they get remastered on the newer games, and they were shit in the old ones and great in the new ones, is because, hey, these weapons actually work on this map pretty well. So it can change. It really can. There's some fan favorite maps that return in other games, and it's just bad. And it really sucks, because you know you think like, oh, Pog, Rust is coming to Modern Warfare 2019, and then you play it and it's like, wow, this is really bad because every gun is a fucking laser. You know, so alright, now with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. We'll stop talking about Call of Duty. Multiverses. For those of you who don't know what Multiverse is, it's like Warner Brothers' Super Smash Brothers. They are starting a battle pass. So, you know, every fucking game is having a battle pass nowadays, and Multiverses is no different. So the original story that was produced on the 4th says, the crossover brawler of our dreams, Multiverses is the fighting genre's latest prize winner. From Adventure Time to Game of Thrones, players' first game's debut title is a wacky fusion of legendary franchises that's left fans enamored with the lighthearted art style and the Super Smash inspired gameplay. Sadly, the Rising Champs first season and next playable character, Morty from Rick and Morty, has been pushed back. A finalized date remains unknown. So that was on the 4th, right? And then I'll pull up a tweet that was made by Multiverses. A big thank you to everyone playing Multiverses. It's exciting to see so many players enjoying the game, and the launch of the open beta is just beginning. We want to let everyone know that we are delaying the start of Season 1 and the release of Morty to a later date. We know this might be disappointing for some and want to assure our community that we are dedicated to delivering new and exciting content that delights players. We'll let you know the timing as soon as we can. We appreciate your patience and enthusiasm. Look forward to unveiling Season 1 very soon. So, Multiverses, it's got a lot of like Warner Brothers and other you know, things. Again, like they said, Adventure Time. They have Finn from Adventure Time. They have, I never watched Game of Thrones, but whatever the main chick's name is in Game of Thrones. Yeah, I think that's her name. She's in it. They have Batman, Superman, Shaggy, Velma. They have like all these like characters from these like legendary IPs in here. I can't imagine how much it costs to get the rights to all those IPs for the fucking game.
Arya Stark.
Oh, I think that's who it is from Game of Thrones, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Arya Stark. And then they're planning on adding Morty from Rick and Morty into the game, and that was how it was on the 4th. Well, then later on the 12th, there was an update. The official Multiverses Twitter account has revealed that Season 1 for the popular Stage Fighter will begin next Monday, August 15th. So today, hey, Battle Pass for Multiverses starting literally today. After a delay to the season was announced last week, Morty from Rick and Morty, who is set up to drop a Season 1, will join the roster roughly a week later on August 23rd. Also, the team has announced that everything coming to the game in Season 1 will not drop on the same day, citing that new modes and content will drop throughout the season. So we're going to go ahead and read the tweet again. We're excited to announce Season 1 will begin on August 15th with a brand new Battle Pass for you to earn in-game rewards. We also can confirm that Morty will join the character roster on August 23rd as part of Season 1. We look forward to sharing more in the coming weeks. #Multiverses. Quick note, everything we are bringing to you in Season 1 will not drop on the same day. New modes, content will be spread through the life of the season. We'll continue to share dates on all the fun things to come. So, when I read that, in my mind I'm thinking, are they actually doing that according to plan? Like, is that just their new plan? Is to just release it throughout to, like, make kind of like the longevity of the season better? Or is it because they're really behind on deving this shit out and they're just releasing it as it goes as soon as it's ready?
That's probably the latter, right? And not necessarily that they're behind, but that, like, you know, you watch stuff and it's like the marketing team is not on the same page as the dev team, so they're like, we gotta do, you know, we gotta get this out there, we gotta promote it, blah blah blah. And like the developers are like, okay, but it's not ready yet. It's like one of those like classic things.
I can definitely imagine like, I don't know, like you said about how like something's not ready yet, so they have to really like push it back or something like that, you know? It's just funny that like, it's just funny that nowadays it's like consumers and gamers, we know that it's one or the other. It's either they have this planned and they're going well, or they're slightly or really behind and they're just really trying to get it out. Right. There's no fooling the fans now. It's usually one or the other.
Yeah.
The only time where something could be going wrong, like delays and stuff, I feel like the only development studio where delays could be happening and I would feel like it's some weird meta, like fuck with your head on purpose thing, would be Kojima Productions.
And what do they do?
They made like Metal Gear and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like, Kojima has done really crazy things, like everything from the first Metal Gear having a villain that literally reads your memory card and breaks the fourth wall and tells you what games you've been playing, to like when Metal Gear Solid 5 was coming out, for like a few weeks he pretended he wasn't who he was and he wore like this mask that had like bandages around his head or something. And then, like, during one of the panels, he took it off, and it was like, oh my god, it's Kojima! And they handed him his glasses and shit. Like, he's done some crazy fucking shit. Like, his latest game, Death Stranding, is literally, you're like a delivery man who walks around the land and, like, fights, like, black goop demons or something. Like, it's insane.
Amazing.
He's really good at making games. I have no personal interest in Death Stranding, but the work he's done with Metal Gear is fucking on point. Like, every single Metal Gear, aside from maybe 4, has been a masterpiece. And 4's gameplay was really good. It's just, you know, I don't like to watch an hour and a half of cutscenes when I first boot up the game. But,
yeah, that's a lot.
you know, it's...
I don't like to watch a minute of cutscenes.
I like
If I wanted to
cutscenes.
watch a movie, I would just watch a movie.
Yeah. I enjoy cutscenes. It's just
30 seconds tops.
Well, wow. Okay, you're not giving anybody any room there. Nah, for me it's
a minute,
like
maybe. Okay, I'll give you a minute.
for me it's like 10 minutes is like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over, and then 20 is like,
10
okay,
minutes
this is your
way too long.
max. Like 10 minutes is like, okay, this is dragging on. And then once you hit 20, it's like, this needs to be done. Like, yesterday.
Oh, for sure. I mean, otherwise I would just watch a movie, right? Like,
Now, I will say something that Metal Gear in the past, like before 4 has done, like in 3, that was really cool, is 3 also, well, every Metal Gear is guilty of having some long cutscenes except like 5, right? Metal Gear Solid 3 has a few cutscenes that are notoriously long, but at least they were skippable. Metal Gear Solid 4's hour-and-a-half long cutscenes are not skippable, which is really annoying.
oh my god, they're not skippable?
No, at least the
playing that
first
game.
one isn't.
I wasn't gonna anyway, but now I'm really not.
But in 3, something that they did do that was really cool, though, is if you're watching the cutscene, occasionally in the top right corner of your screen, you'll see, like, the R1 button come up, and then you can hit that button on your PS2 controller, and you'll actually, like, enter Snake's POV, or you'll get some, like, special shot of the cutscene from a different angle, and it's entirely optional to hit that button.
Right.
You can either watch the cutscene, quote-unquote, as intended, with, you know, just like the angles that are make it more dramatic, or you can look through Snake's eyes, and it usually gives you some extra insight to something. So, like, there's a scene at the beginning when he looks through his binoculars and looks at the Shagohod, which is like the big bad nuclear machine you have to destroy in the game, right? If you never hit that button, you just see like this really far off shot from behind Snake of like the Shagohod up on the mountain, but once you hit the button, you actually look through the binoculars and you can see it up close. Or like, there's a section in the game where the Sorrow, who's like this... I'm not even going to start to begin the lore of to explain the lore of the Sorrow, because I don't want this episode of the podcast to be 2 hours long. But basically, dead guy who's ghost now holds this like sign behind the enemies during some of the later cutscenes with like either after you plant bombs as part of the story, it'll have like the bomb's timer on it, or when you get captured and you're being tortured, it'll have like a radio code that unlocks your cell door, and he'll just be hovering behind the bad guys in the cutscene, and you won't see him unless you hold R1 and enter Snake's first-person view, and then you can kind of see him floating around holding the sign. But if you never hit R1, you'll never get those, like, the door code or know exactly how much time in the cutscene the bomb has. It's pretty cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But those games in their own right, especially Metal Gear Solid 3, is like a fucking masterpiece. That is the only game that whenever I feel like speedrunning a game, I can revisit and actually have a good time attempting to speedrun.
It's good.
Yeah. So, moving on to our fourth topic, a new Victorian Survival FPS got pushed back from 2022 to 2023. Again,
New Victorian what?
survival first-person shooter. Yeah, this caught my eye.
What's the name of it?
Nightingale. Here, I'll open up the thing. There's only one screenshot that I see so far, but just from this screenshot, this looks like a pretty good fucking game. Like, yeah, it's an FPS, and I know that you're not, like, a huge fan of FPSs. I know our group, except for, like, Maple, are huge fans of FPSs, but, I mean, it's a survival game. So, like honestly, what this tells me, what this screenshot right here, what it looks like to me, is it looks like Skyrim got, like, an HD retexture, like, remaster patch again, but then they added the guns and the game mechanics of Fallout to it, is what it looks like to me. I don't know why, but that's just what it looks like. It looks like a new Fallout, Skyrim, like Elder Scrolls and Fallout had a child type shit.
Oh, I like that giant or whatever it is. I thought there was like a helicopter behind him, but I think it's something like swinging off of his pants.
No, you know what that is?
What?
That's a cow or a goat.
What?
Yeah, look, you can see the... Hold on. Trying to make the image bigger. You can see it's like it's missing like its back legs and its ass, and it has like two little legs and like a little head.
What is happening?
I don't know, but it's here. I'll just open the image in a new tab. We'll zoom in on it.
So is this like Fortnite or something?
No. It's a survival game. It's not battle royale.
I mean, like it kind of looks
It's
like a cow.
It's a cow. You can see the white and the black. It's a cow.
No, I think it's just something like swinging
or
off
a
of his
goat.
pants.
That is
like,
that is 100% an animal.
cheese
This
or
is his
something.
head, his eye,
Yeah, I see that it
little
looked like
bump,
that,
and
but,
then
like,
the
why?
ear.
Why would that be there?
A snack
Just
for a man
frozen.
this size.
Oh my.
An entire
God.
cow is like a piece of beef jerky. Like literally, like it's just a little snack for him. But
Very bizarre.
it is bizarre, but I think it looks like it could be a good game. So, Nightingale, the Victorian first-person survival action game, has had its early access launch pushed to the first half of 2023. The game was the debut by Inflection Games, a team consisting of former BioWare developers, including ex-general manager Aaron Flynn. In a message posted to Twitter, Inflection explains it delayed the launch for two reasons. One, it's migrating the game to the Unreal Engine 5. Two, it needs extra time to ensure it's polished and packed with content before players can begin testing it out. You can read Inflection's full message below. So I'm also going to pull this up on screen while I read it, so you can see, like, this is the image that was with the tweet.
Right.
Realm Walkers, which is honestly kind of a badass but also cheesy thing to call your fans.
I like it. Road walkers.
We've made the difficult decision to delay Nightingale's early access release to the first half of 2023. We'll have more news on specific timing at later stage. I'm going to pause reading right here to mention Realm Walkers sounds like something that the developers behind Valheim would call their fucking fans. The move is based on two considerations. The first is an upgrade to Unreal Engine 5. After reviewing the potential Unreal Engine 5 has to offer, we decided on upgrading now rather than waiting until after release. Secondly, Inflection Games is committed to delivering the best possible experience and fulfilling the promise of what Nightingale's universe of realms has to offer players. To achieve that, the additional time will allow the team to make key improvements, bolster content, and polish gameplay. In the coming weeks, you'll see more game and development updates from the team. Until then, we thank you for your continued support and enthusiasm for what we're making. It may take a little longer for the mystical Fey portals to open, but we appreciate you taking this journey with us. Inflection Games. So, there you go. Nightingale debuted during the Game Awards in 2021 and is a PvE crafting and survival game that can be played alone or in co-op. Players find themselves stranded in a Victorian gas lamp fantasy world connected by a network of portals. To survive, they'll have to harvest materials such as wood and ore to construct weapons, equipment, and buildings. Jumping through portals transports players to new biomes such as deserts, swamps, and jungles. Nightingale's appearance during this year's Summer Game Fest introduced realm cards used to unlock new areas and influence the type of content such as enemies and resources they contain. So far, Nightingale is only confirmed to launch for PC via Steam. Which, hey, I mean, so far that sounds awesome.
It does sound cool.
My hope, so when I read this, I see, to survive, I'll reread this bit. To survive, they'll have to harvest materials such as wood and ore to construct weapons, equipment, and buildings.
Okay.
So, boom, there's that sentence. Which definitely gives me, like, the forest, Valheim, like your typical survival game vibes. But then it says, jumping through portals transport players to new biomes such as desert, swamps, and jungles. So in my mind,
like Valheim.
yeah, but in my mind, I'm thinking, will it be like Valheim, where it's just this huge open world, and you just teleport between locations in the world, kind of like Destiny almost. If you've ever played Destiny, it's kind of like you jump between the planets. It's kind of, it will be kind of like that, or will it be more of like less as hardcore as I'm thinking, and more of like a casual in terms of like maybe you build yourself up in one biome, right? You maybe beat a big boss in that biome or something, and then once the portal opens to the next biome, you essentially leave everything behind except what's on your back, and you start from new but with the added gain of what's on your back in the next biome. I think that would be a cooler idea.
Huh.
So like imagine Valheim, but instead of just teleporting between the places and it's just one huge map, imagine if after we defeated like Ekthir, we all had to like ditch our homes and all of our supplies in our chests, and we just had to carry everything we could carry on us. We go through a portal, and then we essentially just start chopping down trees and rebuild our houses and everything in the next area. It's like slightly harder.
I mean, that does sound kind of cool.
That sounds pretty cool to me. I would enjoy that. Almost like every time you advance biomes, it's like a new game plus. You just keep your really good shit for the next area, and you just have to rebuild your house and your storage containers and gather shit to fill those containers to craft. I think that would be awesome.
Totally.
But it could just be like Valheim, where it's just one big area, and you just use the portals to go through areas. I don't know. Could be like a Destiny in terms of like the portals act as a loading screen to the next area, or it could just be like I described, which I hope it's kind of like that. That sounds fucking awesome.
That does sound cool.
Gonna move on to our fifth topic. Well, it had to come sooner or later. It sucks that it had to be the second episode. I was hoping to get to episode 5 before we ever had to talk about Fortnite, but we're talking about Fortnite because I know there's people out there who like Fortnite. I'm not one of them.
It seems to be popular.
It's a popular game, so in order to keep the interests of the viewers in mind, I will talk about Fortnite. For weeks now, leaks and rumors have pointed at a Dragon Ball Z collaboration happening with Epic Games' Battle Royale Fortnite. Now such a crossover has officially been confirmed. Today, the official Fortnite Twitter account tweeted out an image. Oh my god. An image of Shenron floating high above the battle island with a caption that says, "Speak, name your wish, 8/16/2022. Check it out for yourself below. Here's the image. It's a little chopped off.
What does it all mean?
It probably means that they'll add. Well, honestly, you know what it probably means. I don't know if it's gonna be a big thing or a smaller thing. If it's gonna be a smaller thing, what they'll probably do is they'll add Dragon Balls to the map, and you can run around the map and collect all of them in a game, and it'll give you some special chest or something that gives you amazing weapons or something. And then there'll probably be like Goku and Vegeta skins, or if it's bigger than I'm thinking, there'll be like a whole event where like how Fortnite really took off because of its like popular live events. So like the end of Fortnite thing when it happened and all that. There might be like a huge live event where Shenron comes in and gives like a speech or something, kind of like what we see in this image. And he talks about the Dragon Balls being introduced to the land of Fortnite, and then that whole event happens, and then the changes go live for the update. I don't know, but I don't see it being anything more than that. Honestly, I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll just be, look, you can play as Goku or Vegeta, and those are the base models. And then, hey, look, you can get special skins. You can either get the yellow Super Saiyan hair, Super Saiyan blue, or Super Saiyan red. Whoa! Hey, if you look around the map on Fortnite, you can find Dragon Balls and get a special free gold scar out of it with max ammo or something dumb like, it's just probably gonna be something like that. But yeah, so apparently they're adding Dragon Ball Z to Fortnite. Not a topic we're gonna spend any more time talking about, but I just thought it'd be nice for those who are fans of Fortnite to, I don't hate the fans of Fortnite, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the game. I'm not a battle royale chick. I'm not a huge fan of battle royales.
Them, so I'm not like a huge fan.
I've
never played Fortnite. I've watched people play it on Twitch, but
yeah, it's not that I'm not necessarily good at them. It's just I don't enjoy it. It's like,
yeah, I mean, then
It's
Yeah, why
like,
bother?
yeah, occasionally you'll have a good game. You know, a lot of times I will have decent to good games where I like get halfway through or 3/4 of the way through, and occasionally even win the battle royale. But it's like, is it really worth having those 3 or 4 matches where you actually do get far, only to then have the next 10 or 12 where you get knocked out immediately and you just wasted 20 minutes waiting to matchmake into a match? You're in game for 5 minutes and then you're just waiting to matchmake again? Like, it's not worth it, man.
It's not fun, yeah.
It's not worth it. So topic number 6, which I actually knew about this before I saw it on Game Informer's website and was researching for it. Sonic and Fall Guys.
What? I love Sonic!
The Sonic the Hedgehog franchise may have turned 30 years old last year, but the party is still going for some. We already knew additional Sonic-themed costumes were planned for Fall Guys this month, but developer Mediatonic, I almost read that as melodramatic, Mediatonic this morning announced the details of the collaboration event with Sega's iconic brand. The event is meant to celebrate over 30 years of Sonic the Hedgehog and includes a new Sonic-themed level and new outfits. The new level is called Bean Hill Zone. Get it?
Like Green
Get
Hill
it?
Zone?
Get it? And the Fall Guy and the Fall Guys are shaped. Yeah, get it?
Oh my gosh.
And tasks the Fall Guys beans with collecting as many. Sorry, every time I read the word beans now, I'm just thinking bean. With collecting as many rings as possible to win special rewards. If players can earn 200 points, they get a Bean Hill Zone nameplate, earning 400 points.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, earning 400 points yields 200 kudos. Don't know what that is. 600 points to get a bonus rings pattern outfit. 800 points gives 400 kudos, and 1,000 points gives you access to Sonic's iconic sneakers.
Sneakers.
The red and white sneakers. Now the real question is, does that give you a very slight like point of a decimal point speed bonus? Like, does it give you like a 0.2 faster run speed?
Wow, good question.
That's what I really want to know. But anyway,
I'll have to play it to find out.
that is the last gaming news topic. I'm gonna move on to a topic that is honestly very shallow, but I think it's funny, so I added it.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, El Jefe has been spotted. El Jefe. El Jefe has been spotted. I don't know if I mentioned. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this real quick, but that was that was the end of the gaming news, by the way.
Yeah, you said that.
Okay, I didn't know if I did or not. I couldn't remember.
You did.
I was so enamored with El Jefe that I forgot. El Jefe in Mexico City is where this took place. They call him El Jefe. He is at least 12 years old, and his crossing of the heavily guarded U.S.-Mexico border has sparked celebrations on both sides.
He's 12?
El Jefe, or the Boss, is one of the oldest Jaguars on record along the frontier. One of few known to have crossed a border partly lined by a wall and other infrastructure to stop drug traffickers and migrants, and the one believed to have traveled the farthest, say ecologists of the Borderlands Linkages Initiative. That's a fucking mouthful. A binational collaboration of 8 conservation groups. That assessment is based on photographs taken over the years. Jaguars can be identified by their spots, which serve as a kind of unique fingerprint.
Oh, I was wondering if maybe they had like a, what do you call it?
A tracker on them?
Yeah, like a tracker on him, but it
I
sounds
don't
like
think
they're
they
just
do. Well,
IDing him by his spots, which are as unique as fingerprints.
yeah. So I mean, it's crazy that these people can like get a picture of a Jaguar and take like I don't know, maybe like I don't know how long it takes. I'd imagine it'd probably take like about a day. It wouldn't be like no 20-minute process. It probably takes them like a day or plus to figure it out. But it's crazy that you can just get a picture of a fucking Jaguar, and just by looking at the spots, you can be like, yep, that's this specific
him.
Jaguar.
That's El Jefe.
That's El Jefe, 12-year-old fucking Jaguar. Jesus.
Well, at first, I didn't know this was about a Jaguar. I thought it was just about a 12-year-old boy that was being called El Jefe, and I was like, oh, this guy's a badass.
No, dude, it's a fucking. It's even better and even more bizarre. It's a fucking 12-year-old Jaguar that people are like.
I wonder how long Jaguars live. Like, is 12 like?
I don't know.
I would assume 12
On
is
average, how
pretty young.
long do Jaguars live? Well, they said he's one of the oldest ever recorded.
Oh. That doesn't
In the wild, their lifespan is 12 to
Oh.
15 years.
Interesting.
So apparently a
I
jaguar's
guess I
lifespan
didn't
is
even
12 to
realize
15
we
years.
had jaguars here on our continent. I thought they were like in Africa or something.
I mean, they are, but they're
Asia.
also here. So
I didn't realize.
yeah, but I wanted to include this story because it's like, dude, people are literally being like people are gassed that a fucking jaguar crossed the border.
Hell yeah.
Like, that is the world we live in, and you know what? I'm fine to be part of that world. I'd rather be gassed about a jaguar named El Jefe crossing the border rather than hearing about how many people died in the latest bombing strike in Ukraine or some dumb shit. Like, I'm just like, I'd rather hear about El Jefe.
Yes, tell us more about El Jefe.
All right, and then our second to last topic. If spiders didn't terrify you enough, apparently they sleep.
Okay. Well, that.
I don't know why that's.
Why is that scary?
I don't know. It's just more stuff that makes spiders comparable to humans. Like, I don't know. It's just that creeps me. It's not scary, but it's a little creepy. Because it's
that
like
they sleep. It's creepy to you that they sleep.
I don't know. I guess it's just a little. Ugh. Like, why?
It's just a little.
Why are you sleeping, bro? Sleeping is like I don't know, because typically I guess when I think about animals sleeping, I think of like cats, dogs, lions, like jaguars,
I guess it didn't
seals.
really occur to me to wonder if they sleep or not, you know?
Yeah, and it's like a spider sleeps? Like, So apparently this article is out of New York. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they found a sleeping spider in New York or if that's where the researchers are. I have no clue. But it's a question that keeps some scientists awake at night. Do spiders sleep? Daniela Rossler and her colleagues trained cameras on baby jumping spiders at night to find out. The footage showed patterns that looked a lot like sleep cycles. The spider's leg twitched and parts of their eyes flickered. Ugh.
Okay.
The researchers described this pattern as REM sleep-like state in humans.
Sleep, sure.
REM sleep, or rapid eye movement, is an active phase of sleep where parts of the brain light up with activity that is closely linked with dreaming. Other animals, including some birds and mammals, have been shown to experience REM sleep, but creatures like the jumping spider haven't gotten as much attention, so it wasn't known if they got the same kind of sleep, said Rossler, whatever, an evolutionary biologist at the University of Konstanz in Germany. Their findings were published Monday in the Journal of Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. That's another mouthful, but...
Huh.
Oh my god, I just realized if you take Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, it makes penis. So close to penis. It's so close to penis. P-N-A-S. So close to penis. Penis.
Always on your mind.
Always, because they're funny. Alright. And then we're gonna wrap up the show today, Lim, with Golf Cart Jack Joyride.
What?
Now, okay, hold on. I'm gonna scroll up. Hopefully you didn't read any of it.
No.
I'm gonna give you one guess as to where this happened.
Florida.
Titusville, Florida. A woman with an open bottle of Jack Daniel's whiskey in a bag was arrested for driving a golf cart on Florida's busiest interstate while drunk, according to an arrest report.
Not only was she driving on the interstate, she was also drunk, which of course she was.
Yep.
And she had an open bottle of whiskey with her.
Yep, in a bag. The 58-year-old woman was arrested Saturday night on the shoulder of Interstate 95. She is now facing misdemeanor charges of disorderly intoxication in a public place and resisting an officer without violence. Of course she was resisting. Why would she not be? It's Florida.
What a Karen.
According to a...
She's just out there living her best life.
True,
Just driving her
until
golf
she
cart.
yanks the wheel to the left and ends up fucking killing a family in their fucking GTA Regina. Excuse me. According to an FHP report, a semi-truck driver spotted the woman driving in the golf cart in the center lane of Interstate 95 in Brevard County, which is the heart of Florida's Space Coast. The truck driver, quote, advised she observed the driver of the golf cart passing out while driving, the report said. The truck driver used her semi to steer the golf cart to the shoulder of the interstate, troopers said. So this bitch in a big rig saw this drunk lady swerving all around, passed out behind the wheel of a fucking golf cart on the interstate. So she drove up beside it and just gave it little tippy tap bumps until it got over to the shoulder.
I wish there was some video of that, because that sounds insane.
That would have been...
Like, can you imagine being in a golf cart and having, like, a semi just, like, nudging you off to the side of the road?
Well, no, I can't... No, I couldn't imagine that because I would have been passed out from all the fucking jack I just drank.
Right? Oh, my word.
Once on the shoulder,
insane.
the truck driver grabbed the keys of the golf cart as the woman tried to drive away. Once troopers arrived at the scene, the woman started arguing with them and insisted she needed her bag. She needed the jack. She needed the jack, man. Inside the bag, troopers found an open bottle of Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire Whiskey, authorities said.
What was going on with her that she got to that point in her life?
Interstate 95, which stretches up and down the East Coast, is Florida's busiest interstate highway, according to the Federal Highway Administration. So, yeah.
That's insanity.
So, in other words, we just read a story about Lim in a few years.
Shut it. No way, man. I would never.
Nah, you're right. It'll be like a pina colada and a fucking hoverboard or something instead of a...
Pina colada and a hoverboard?
Lim on a hoverboard with a pina colada drunk on the fucking highway.
I mean, except for the highway part, that does sound amazing.
just in a parking lot, church parking lot.
Where I just got done playing bingo.
I just got done playing bingo and shooting some elderly hoops. Oh my god. I would pay money to watch some, I'm not saying you're old, but just a different old woman, right? I know I used the example, but like, you're not what I'm imagining in my head right now. I'm imagining like Betty White, like 5 years after Golden Girls, like old woman, right?
Right.
On like a hoverboard with a pina colada in her hand, just condensation dripping off of it because it's like hot. And she's just like in her underwear, just zipping around the retirement home parking lot on her hoverboard. just drunk off her ass.
That sounds amazing.
Just screaming like expletives at people as they walk past and try to talk to her and tell her to get off of it. She's just like, fuck you.
Oh, man.
I remember when a candy bar was 10 cents. I could have gotten this pina colada for $10. Now it's 75.
Just living her best life.
Oh my god.
That's so crazy. Every story like that, it's always Florida.
Every time. I hope. Now I try to keep every news story, whether if it's the funny like world news or the gaming news, like topical to the time. Like that episode comes out, it's usually from the week prior.
Sure.
But I really hope that we just like someday we're bound to hit a streak where it's just Florida after Florida after Florida, and then and then eventually if it does get to that point, I'll have like a counter on the podcast where I'll just be like, number of Florida stories we've had in a row. And it'll just be like, yeah. So, yeah.
It's definitely a thing. Oh, excuse me. I used to listen to this radio show called Loveline, and that was like a thing on there. They would say, all right, they would tell like an insane story, and then it'd be like, did did this take place in Germany or Florida? And like people would guess.
In Germany or Florida?
Yeah, pretty funny.
Yeah. Alright. Well, I think that is gonna do it for the main show of the Bullshit Podcast. Thank you, Lim, for joining me, although we're not quite done yet. We're gonna go into the after show after this, but this is the end of the main show. August 15th. Was it?
I especially liked the current events.
Yeah. Was it fun?
Yes.
Did it, was it more fun or better than you expected?
I mean, I don't know what I expected, so sure.
There we go. She doesn't want to lie, but she's not fully telling the truth. There it is. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. I will break my rules and look at chat for 0.5 seconds so that I can put the exclamation point BS in the chat. That'll take you to a link to the Bullshit YouTube channel. It is separate from my YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. This episode of the Bullshit Podcast will be going up as soon as the after show is done. If you're watching on YouTube and you're like, man, I really want to be able to talk to Sky and whoever her guest is, in this case Lim, we'll probably have her on again at some point in the future. I don't have any rules against repeating guests.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so, you know, we'll probably have her on again. If you ever want to join, you know, be like, oh man, Sky and her guest, it must be really fun, you know, chatting and chat with her and her guest at the after show, you know, whatever. Come join us live! Every Monday, baby. Well, I say every Monday. I try every Monday. If there's ever a Monday where I can't make it, I will be sure to, like, you know, keep the Discord and Twitter updated. But yeah, definitely come to twitch.tv/RivXP. Come be part of the after show. It's a ton of fun. Thank you, Lim, for being part of this episode. And
Thank you for having me.
I'll be seeing you all next Monday for some more video game and funny drunk woman on Florida Interstate. El Jefe.